Today at Commander Replay, we try out one of the least interactive and most combo-heavy decks this channel has ever seen, a 5-color Smothering Tithe.Deck. Can we slam our Smothering Tithe combo before Slivers, Mizzix, and Selvala get to us? Find out next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, I want to take a quick second to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have a new Patreon supporter, Quinn Gregory, looks like DeRoche. Quinn, you are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon, the link below. Just to let you guys know, I do have a Twitter page now, so feel free to check me out on Twitter at Commander Replay. Welcome back everyone, playing some 5-color Smothering Tithe today, led by Sliver Overlord. And one of the reasons I like to run Sliver Overlord in a 5-color deck is it's just a nice blocker to throw in the middle. It's a very nice durable creature that you can attack with it if you need to. You can hold it up as a blocker, and it should just keep our opponents busy long enough that we hopefully don't get attacked to death. So we're playing a Smothering Tithe combo deck, and I think that this may be one of the strongest and probably least interactive decks that I've ever built and or played on the channel. I know I've played a couple strong decks submitted by Patreons, but nothing that I've built has really been this strong. But if this deck works the way it's supposed to, it's going to end with us taking like a 20-minute turn and our opponents being absolutely miserable. And luckily today we are joined by 3 Patreon supporters, so at the very least, hopefully they won't early scoop. Though if they did, I would completely understand, because once this deck gets going, it's going to be a nightmare. Basically, the idea is we're going to play Smothering Tithe and use a bunch of wheel effects to generate more or less infinite mana, and then use things like Nekusar to get some damage in, and we also have a couple big X burn spells to close it out. So, yep, we draw a Cyclonic Rift off the top. That'll probably be helpful at some point. Let us play this Badlands, play the Grim Monolith. Do we go for the Chromatic Lantern with the Grim Monolith? If we don't, we can get Nekusar next turn, which is pretty cool. Or the Alhammerets. Probably go for Nekusar first is what I would do. I think we'll sit on that for a second. Now, this list isn't tuned in its current state, so it could obviously be made much better by someone who knows how to build combo decks, but the general idea of the deck is a very powerful one. So taking a look at what our opponents are playing, first up we have Doc Jock playing Sliver Overlord, a deck that he got me with this morning. And actually we were chit-chatting in the Discord after the game. He was talking about Smothering Tithe needing to be banned, which was what inspired me to build this deck. I'm like, well, let's make a Smothering Tithe deck. And then as I started, going through what things are good with Smothering Tithe, it kind of turned into a 5-color Nekusar deck is more or less where I ended up with it. So yeah, the Mizzix opponent lays down, they have a Signet in play, and they also lay down Firemind's Research. Pretty good card. That card got me in a game a little while back. And that's an Eldritch Evolution on the Llanowar Elves for the Selvala. And they go and find a Wayward Swordtooth. It seems pretty good. They had a bunch of mana with Selvala. There's an Expedition map. An Arbor Elf. Ooh, and a Gaia's Cradle. All right. Yep. Selvala is a very strong deck. Continuing on our opponents, by the way, next up we have Chaotix 2075 playing Mizzix of the Ismagus, another powerful commander. With Mizzix, it's relatively easy to keep Mizzix out of play, at least more so than a lot of other fast combo-y kind of decks. However, our deck runs very, very little interaction, the Cyclonic Rift being one of the few cards in the deck that will do it. So there will be that. Things that go into play will probably stay in play. And with that, that'll bring it back to our turn. We draw into Debt to the Debtless, a card that I would not want to draw, since that is one of our late game finishers, and we do not have a way to put it back on top of our library. But what we will do right here is play our Nekusar. Yeah, I guess we're going to give up one on the Grim Monolith right here, unfortunately. So Nekusar triggers on the stack for Sliver Overlord. They get to draw an additional card, and they'll take 2 damage. Finishing up on our opponents, finally we have, oh boy, Oio Baneo. Yep, can't say that. Piloting Selvala, Heart of the Wilds, a very strong commander. A good Selvala deck can end a game in like 3 or 4 turns. I have seen it happen, and they are set up pretty well. Wouldn't be surprised to see the big green monsters coming down next turn. And giving them some card draw, probably not the best idea, but that's what our deck does. And so that's one thing about this deck, is that it's the type of deck that is very strong, but if you're having to play it against other strong decks, may not be as good since you are giving them card draw. This deck is going to be very weak to interaction. So it's the type of deck that can really prey on decks that are weaker than itself, but once it gets into a class of equally powered decks, I don't know exactly how it's going to go. Mizzix lays down a Fevered Visions, so that's going to play into our opponents taking some damage. Plans. Lots of draw burn, yep. If we can just find our Smothering Tithe, life will be grand. There's a scavenging grounds for the Selvala. That's actually good because we play a lot of the blue wheels, which recycle our graveyard. Not that we necessarily need to recycle our graveyard, but it can be helpful at times to do that. Love to catch a mana rock off the top, like a Soul Ring or a Mana Crypt. Even one of the other zero-cost mana rocks would be solid. There's a Deserted Temple for our opponent. Oh, man. They're going to be able to make so much mana. Getting the Cyclonic Rift soon would probably be a good idea. Ooh, they have Fauna Shaman down, so we'll probably be seeing our friend Craterhoof very soon. Oh, there's Tooth and Nail. Yep, so probably seeing it right here. Yep, there's Avengers Zendikar and Craterhoof. Let's see who survives this. That is turn 4. Turn 4 Tooth and Nail. Yeah, that's what a Selvala deck can do if you don't interact with it. Thankfully, opponent doesn't have like too many lands in play. Let's see. Still a lot of creatures though. Yeah, enough to be trample. Yep. Gonna kill everyone? Yeah, they can kill everyone. Oh, righty, you can't attack with the Avenger tokens yet. All right, there's a chance. If we hit multiple mana rocks, we could overload the Cyclonic Rift. Or we could just catch Blasphemous Act off the top. That's a cool one, too. All right, let's see what opponent has coming our way. He's got 13. He's got 16 plus 16. That's 32. You know what? I'm just going to take all of it. So Mizzix goes down. They go to -1. We're at 7. It's going to bring it back to our turn. We get an additional... We see a land. Need something big. Toxic Deluge is a card. It's going to put us really low, though. So low. But it does solve our creature problem that we need to deal with. Play the Plateau. Fortunately, yeah. Oh, man. Need more mana ramp. I guess we'll have some time to reset up, though. What's the biggest thing on board? The biggest thing on board is a 5/5. 5/5 is still pretty big. That's going to put us to 2. That is not great. We do have Debt to the Debt list. We may need to use that for value at some point. Toxic Deluge, X5. Opponent says, probably should have killed me first. Yeah, probably. And I guess we pass like that. There's a Frenetic Sliver. That's an interesting one. All slivers have 0. If this permanent is on the battlefield, flip a coin. If you win the flip, exile it and return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. If you lose the flip, sacrifice it. Yep, it's an interesting one. Interestingly, it does have lethal power on us, so we probably need to look at getting our commander. Interestingly, Selvala does not recast their commander. Oh, they don't have enough. Yeah, Gaia's Cradle with no creatures. They don't have enough. We draw a Pact of Negation. Gotta be careful of that Sliver. So I guess we play Chromatic Lantern right here. Ooh, that's an asceticism. I guess we cast Cyclonic Rift on the Frenetic Sliver. Opponent can use the ability. See if they win or lose the flip. They lose the flip. Nice. Goes to the graveyard. We could counter the asceticism, but we really need to get some stuff going on board. There's a Birds of Paradise. Okay. It's not too bad. Does give opponent some mana, though, off of the Gaia's Cradle. Still awkward that they can't recast their commander, so looks like they're passing right there. That's good for me. Oh, that's an Exquisite Blood. Oh, that is sweet. That can gain us a lot of life back. Do we go Exquisite Blood, or do we go Alhammarret's Archive? Ooh. Alhammarret's Archive gives us double the draw. Ooh, it also gives us double the life gain. Man, we gotta get both of these things into play. Debt to Debtless with Exquisite Blood seems very, very good. I'm gonna go Alhammarret's first. There's a Farseek from our opponent, sure. We do have Metal... Man, we do have Metalcraft for the Molten Psyche. So if we can get Exquisite Blood down, we would gain a lot of life back. Sliver Overlord, huh? Is that worth a Pact of Negation? Can't really do much to it once it's in play. Guess we let it go. Yeah, we should have went for the Exquisite... Well, I guess if we went for the Exquisite Blood, then we don't have the Metalcraft for the Molten Psyche, so kind of really just need to catch some mana rocks. Even like catching a Brainstorm off the top would be sweet because we get the double draw. I don't know. It's going to be really tough from this position, though. Because with the Sliver Overlord, they can just tutor for any sliver they need. They can get the Flying Sliver, and that would be trouble for us. There's a Soul of the Harvest into play. It's a pretty good one. Ooh, Scalding Tarn. It's going to be rough. Play the Scalding Tarn. Oh, what do we got? 6. We have 6 mana. I don't know. I think we start the loop here and just try to get lucky. Oh, we can use Chromatic Lantern, so we don't have to crack the Scalding Tarn. That seems like a good place to be. Ooh, we're only going to get 3 new cards. No, actually, we'll get 6 new cards. 6 really worth it. I don't know. I think we got to try, because we can't do it with the cards we have. So we get Wheel of Fortune. Debt to Debtless comes back somehow. Oh, it shuffles the cards from the... Yeah, Debt to Debtless comes back. Exquisite Blood comes back. Really interesting. Try the Wheel of Fortune. Hope to mana rock it out. Well, we draw a lot. Crap, we already played a land. Oh, there's the Blasphemous Act. Alright, discard Godless Shrine, Watery Grave, Signet,
Commit to Memory, Temple Garden, Arid Mesa, and we cannot play Vampire Tutor. Sedge Sliver coming into play. Yep. Comes more slivers. Muscle Sliver. Oh, there's an intruder alarm for our opponent. Yep, well, 1 into us, that's going to bring us down. Oh, man, we just land short of... Well, I guess no. Blasphemous Act would have been more than 1 mana. So, Smothering Tithe.Deck. Round 1. We did not get Smothering Tithe, and we did not accelerate appropriately. So, probably need to add more mana rocks into the deck. Need to get faster, because there's a lot of 5-drops in the deck, so we need to get to those 5-drops quickly. So, creature into play for the Selvala, and they draw from the Soul of the Harvest. Fintorn Elves, Soul of the Harvest, Intruder Alarm. Oh, Intruder Alarm with this Soul of the Harvest and this Birds of Paradise is like, opponent's gonna be able to play a lot of stuff, and at some point they'll be able to tap the Gaia's Cradle. Giving Intruder Alarm to the Selvala opponent seems bad. Sakura Tribe Elder, Intruder Alarm, Soul of the Harvest. They would need to literally run out of creatures to stop the loop right there, or run out of mana to be able to cast them, but with Gaia's Cradle, yeah, I think they'll be just fine. Maybe this deck needs, like, I think like an Azusa and a Summer Bloom. Just cough out all the lands into play. Seems like a good place to be. Selvala into play. Intruder Alarm. Opponent had to use the Gaia's Cradle right there, so they must be out of cheap creatures. Still have they have a Deserted Temple, though, so they can untap it. Yeah, Slivers are going to need a lot. Although flying and Infect should do it. Nissa Vital Force into play. Uh-oh. Get back the Crater Hoof or something like that. There's a Goreclaw. Intruder Alarm Selvala, Soul of the Harvest. Oh, opponent goes to the plus mode on the Nissa Vital Force, by the way, which untaps the Gaia's Cradle. There's 14 mana. Ooh. Natural Order. Let's see what's left. Search library for a green creature. Gets an Eternal Witness. Soul of the Harvest, Selvala, Intruder Alarm, Eternal Witness trigger. There's Thunderfoot Baloth. Lieutenant, as long as you control your commander, it gets +2/+2. Other creatures you control have +2/+2 and trample. Okay. Nothing with haste yet. 25 green mana. Oh, there's an Emrakul. That should do it. And there's a Crater Hoof Behemoth. Crater Hoof has trample. Gaius has trample. The bird is untapped. Oh, yeah, now I think he's got it. All right, so Selvala taking it down. Selvala, a very good deck, actually a competitive deck. That is probably a tier above what I have going on in my deck. My deck not quite fast enough and a little bit too fragile for all that to happen. So, anyway, gonna try another game with this deck and see how things go.